Not many people know this, but the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit is a true story. And I know that sounds insane, but hear me out. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is a 1988 film directed by Robert Zemeckis and starring Bob Hoskins, which is a hard-boiled film noir throwback murder mystery comedy about a world where humans and cartoon characters coexist. And the main character, Eddie Valiant, has to solve a murder involving a cartoon character named Roger Rabbit. It's one of the first ever feature-length live-action animation hybrid films, and it famously featured hundreds of real cartoons and also featured the first and I think only time that Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny ever appeared on screen together. It's also just an amazing film. The special effects are unparalleled. The cinematography is so sharp. The acting, the writing, it's all just completely firing at all cylinders, and it's one of my top 10 movies of all time. But the movie was based on a true story. So what does that mean? Well, the first thing you got to understand is that Who Framed Roger Rabbit was originally supposed to be a sequel to the movie Chinatown. Chinatown is a detective drama from the 1970s that was directed by Roman Polanski, which is another story for another day, and starring Jack Nicholson. And Chinatown was also based on a true story. It was a murder mystery set against the backdrop of the California Water Wars, which was a real event that happened in the 1920s surrounding a series of political disputes about moving water into LA using an aqueduct. The only difference was that they moved the time period from the 1920s to the 1950s to give it more of a hard-boiled film noir feel. So after the success of Chinatown, the movie's screenwriter Robert Towne wanted to make a sequel that featured Jack Nicholson's character Jake Gittes solving another murder against the backdrop of another real-life event. And this real-life event was going to be the fact that in the 1940s, the automobile and rubber industries conspired together to dismantle the public transportation system in Los Angeles so that they could turn it into a driving city and build freeways through it. And if you've seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, that's starting to sound a bit familiar. But this proposed Chinatown sequel never actually ended up happening, at least not that one. There was another actual Chinatown sequel that was made in the 90s called The Two Jakes that was directed by Jack Nicholson, but that's a whole different thing. However, this idea, for some reason, just kept getting kicked around in Hollywood for years until at some point in the mid-80s, somebody had the idea of taking it and mashing it up with this book by this author named Gary Wolfe called Who Censored Roger Rabbit. They basically took the characters and the basic concept of the book and combined it with this Chinatown script and got the movie that we ended up seeing. And of course, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is a murder mystery that's set against the backdrop of a plot where some mysterious company buys and dismantles all of the public transportation in Los Angeles so that they can build freeways through Toontown. So, you know, the next time you're in a social situation and you run out of things to talk about, just tell them that Who Framed Roger Rabbit is based on a true story, and you've got hours of discussion right there. And real quick, if you like my videos and you want to see more in-depth writing from me, you can do that here.